Well, the core committee on the Naga Peace Talks will meet in Dimapur on the 9th of November to take stock of the peace process after it resumed post a gap of nearly 2 years. Well, highly placed sources in Kohima told your channel Northeast Live that the meeting, to be held at the residence of a Chief Minister Nephew Rio, will take a decision on whether the core committee members should once again visit New Delhi to meet the central government leaders. And asked whether the core committee was hopeful of a face-to-face meeting between the NSCNIM as well as the 7-member NNPG to resolve their differences in approaching a solution, the sources said that they were not ruling out the possibility of such a meeting. The core committee comprises, of course, of leaders of the NDPP, NPF and the BJP. Nagaland currently has an opposition-less government, with the NPF joining the Rio-led dispensation for the sake of Naga peace. Yes, indeed, viewers, the big development as far as the Naga Peace Talks are concerned. The core committee on the peace talks will be meeting in Dimapur on the 9th of November to take stock of the peace process after it resumed post a gap of nearly 2 years. And highly placed sources in Kohima told your channel Northeast Live that the meeting, to be held at the residence of Chief Minister Nephew Rio, will take a decision on whether the core committee members should once again visit the national capital and meet the central government leaders. Well, asked whether the core committee was hopeful of a face-to-face meeting between the NSCNIM and the 7-member NNPG to resolve their differences in approaching a solution, the sources added that they were not ruling out the possibility of such a meeting. The core committee, of course, comprises of leaders of the NDPP, NPF and the BJP. Nagaland currently has an opposition-less government, with the NPF joining the Rio-led dispensation for the sake of Naga peace. All right, and to give us his perspective on this big development, I'm being joined now live from our newsroom by our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain. Well, Wasbir, how important exactly do you think is this core committee meeting scheduled for the 9th of November? Wasbir, over to you.
Yes, indeed, Ronak, this is a very significant meeting that is going to take place on the 9th of November, the meeting of the core committee on the Naga Peace Talks. And as we have been reporting, this meeting is going to take place at the residence of Chief Minister Nephew Rio in Dimapur, to be precise, at 3 p.m. on the 9th. And now that Nagaland does not have any opposition parties, because all the major political parties are part of the opposition-less government, this is going to give a lot of weight to the meetings of the core committee. Remember, recently the entire core committee was in New Delhi meeting all the different stakeholders. That includes the union government, the NSCNIM as well as the NNPGs. And therefore, this meeting on the 9th comes at a time when the differences between the NSCNIM, the approach of the NSCNIM, the differences in approach, I mean, of the NSCNIM and NNPGs have yet to be resolved. While the NSCNIM is insistent on their demand for a flag and constitution, the NNPGs have been maintaining on their stand that they are ready to sign on the dotted lines, and whether if there is any dispute, those could be resolved even after the accord is signed. So this is the critical point that the core committee will have to resolve before New Delhi can reach that stage where an agreement can be signed. Therefore, I would say this meeting is indeed very, very significant.
Right, and well, Wasbir, do you think that the only way, forward is, and also for a breakthrough, can only be achieved if and when the NSCNIM and the NNPG sit together on one table and resolve their differences, Wasbir?
Yes, as I have said, the differences in approach between the NSCNIM and the NNPGs continues, and that is the main stumbling block as far as the delay in signing the Naga Peace deal is concerned. These talks have been going on for 24 years now. There will be the silver jubilee of the talks, which started in 1997, and now the question that you are asking, whether the NSCNIM and the NNPGs would have to resolve their differences before the central government can sign a peace deal. That is very true indeed, because the NSC and IM is insistent, as we have been saying continuously, that they are insisting on their core demand by flag and constitution. NNPGs appear to be extremely flexible in their approach. They said that they have ended their talks with the government of India 2 years ago, that is on the 31st of October 2019, and that they are ready to sign on the dotted lines. The NNPGs are saying that, you know, they can resolve the whatever differences remain even after the accord is signed, but that is not the perception or the position of the NSC and IM. And therefore, the challenge before the negotiators, that includes the government of India, that includes the new interlocutor A.K. Mishra, that also includes the core committee headed by the chief minister of Nagaland, and where all the opposition parties, all the political parties, I'm sorry, because there is no opposition in Nagaland at this point in time. So everybody has pitched in and lent their support behind this core committee to create some kind of a situation to put pressure, if I may use the word, on the stakeholders to resolve the differences and reach an amicable and acceptable solution. But the challenge is whether the two sides will be willing, that is the NSA and IM and the NNPGs, whether they would be willing to sit face to face across the table and resolve their differences. That is something which is eluding. That is something which has not happened. Earlier, the church leaders tried to bring the two groups or the different Naga groups together. They failed, and now the core committee has not yet succeeded so far, although sources close to the core committee have told Notice Live today that they do not rule out the NNC and IM and the NNPG sitting face to face to resolve the differences. But a big point is we'll have to wait and watch as to how things proceed after this core committee meeting on the 9th of November.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lots to look forward to. Wasbir Hussain, thank you very much for joining us this evening and giving us your take on this big development on the Naga Peace Talks.